I can say that the U.S. and Iran are apparently going to try to talk it out on Friday, even though things were looking like they were about to get a little hot out there.
It was.
If you didn't know, the U.S. forces shot down an Iranian drone because they were saying it aggressively approached an American aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea where they are on Tuesday. And I actually found some video, which I thought was really interesting, only because every time I say armada when I'm talking about this with my friends or aircraft carriers, people don't really know what I mean. So this is not a live video of the situation right now in the Middle East. This is just some stock video that I found that gives you an example of what an aircraft carrier is. It's literally something that can carry aircrafts. It's huge. It's a warship. So this is kind of the situation in the Middle East right now. And as far as this scenario, the ship was approximately 500 miles from the Iranian coast, and officials say that drone approached them with unclear intent. So a stealth fighter jet took off from the warship out there, from the aircraft carrier out there, and shot down the drone in self-defense to protect the aircraft carrier and its personnel. Nobody was hurt. They didn't have any, it was unmanned. So, you know, there's no casualties here. And the U.S. didn't have any equipment damaged or anything. But there were also claims that there was a, what was it? It was something else. There was a U.S. ship of some sort. Yes, there was I just found it in my notes. The Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, targeted a U.S. flagged, U.S. crewed merchant vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. And apparently the Central Command out there was saying that 2 boats and a drone approached that ship at a high speed and threatened to board it and seize the tanker. So then a U.S. guided missile destroyer pulled up and escorted that, with the Air Force providing air support so that tanker could proceed safely. But people are looking at this stuff and being like, all right, like, you know, what's going on out here?
Yeah, it looks intense, but it's not. They sent a drone. We sent a jet to go shoot down the drone. Like, it's not a comparison out here. You know what I'm saying? We don't have much to worry about.
So NBC News cited the Tasnim news agency, which said that they have an informed source who said that drone was just out there carrying out a routine and lawful mission in international waters. They were engaged in recon, monitoring, and imaging, which is considered a normal and legal activity. Again, the U.S. said, y'all were coming in a little too hot, too far, too fast. We didn't know what your intent was, so we shot it down.
Hey, you got to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready, bro. You got to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. I respect it. You got to stay ready.
Was you a little too close over here?
Yeah. We don't know what kind of intentions y'all got, bro.
Right. You know, and it is what it is. So there are still talks scheduled, even with all of that and the uncertainties of what's happening in the water. Iran's president actually posted on X saying that they are down to talk. They said, in response to the request of friendly governments in the region to reply to the proposal of the president of the United States for negotiations, I have instructed the foreign minister that should an appropriate atmosphere free from threats and far from unreasonable expectations exist, he should prepare the ground for fair and equitable negotiations based on the principle of dignity, wisdom, and expediency within the framework of national interest. So that says to me, people who were in the region, other governments in the region were asking them, hey, please respond to the United States and try to work something out, try to negotiate with them. So they've already said that if this gets hot for them, it's going to explode into a regional war. Mm-hmm. So, of course, everybody in the region is like, can you please try to work this out as best you can? And they've ended up deciding that they were going to do this in Oman. There were different countries that had offered up their land to basically do this on, and Turkey was in the conversation. But Iran reportedly requested to go to Oman instead of Turkey, so that's where it's going to happen. And I think that it's mostly interesting because when you see him messaging about wanting to do this with dignity and respect and all that, just positive words, things that make them sound like they are trying to be honorable and admirable and noble in this process, you just don't know if that's real or not. Because you got some people saying that these people are evil and oppressive and President Trump, please come save us. Other people are saying, you know, the United States is about to start a whole war for no reason other than their own interests.
Yeah, I get it. But like at one point in time, Iran was making threats to us, and they was talking real tough and really big what lowered your tone? That's how I view it as. I see it as they seen that we were actually about that action, and we kind of lowered their tone. They showed a little bit more respect. Like, okay, we recognize y'all as the big dogs. We recognize y'all as the big dogs, and let's just choose diplomacy. Let's do that now because you just shot down one of our drones. Let's just choose diplomacy, please. I see what you can do.
To your point, I do think that the fact that nuclear talks are even happening right now is because they see the pressure right off the coast. You know, like they're a couple hundred miles off the coast. The fleet, the whole armada is right there. It's a bigger one than they sent to Venezuela. And there was a huge one around Venezuela. I wish I would have remembered this and I would have shown you what all they had. But they had a lot. They had like 15,000 troops outside of Venezuela. They had a lot. So I can show you, though, another tweet from the president, another X post from the president said, if the people of Iran face hardship and difficulties in their lives, one of the main reasons for it is the long-standing enmity and inhumane sanctions imposed by the United States government and its allies. Any aggression against the supreme leader of our country is tantamount to all-out war against the Iranian nation. I took that to mean, and this is January 18th. This was, a couple days ago, it was before all of this. But he's saying, like, this is the situation we're in is kind of the United States' fault. The Treasury Secretary, I played his sound. He straight up said, yes, we helped this happen. Scott Bessent said, the Trump directed me to really put the pressure on the economy, and it worked. The banks failed. Their real failed, and people started protesting. Things are going great. That was the plan for them. So there's merit to what he's saying. But to the last part of the anything should happen to our president, it's going to be an all-out war. They just saw them kidnap a president.
Yeah.
Flash capture a president, whatever word you want to say. So they're thinking like this could get hot for us for real too.
Yeah. Like I said, it lowered their tone. And for them to sit here and make it seem like it was America that did all this, I just can't get behind that completely because I've seen multiple different reports of how the Iranian government handles their citizens when they start to rebel or protest. Thousands of people being killed, unalived. It's just like, I can't really take it as you just putting the blame on another country because the way you handle it, of course, you're going to have interference from other countries. We get it all the time. But the way you handle those people in your country says a lot also. So I can't sit here and make it seem like it's all America's fault. Even if we were out there, the way they killed these people, I don't agree with.
How did they kill?
Killed.
Oh, okay.
Because again, we still have those multiple different reports. The latest one I've seen was about 30,000 people being killed in the protest. But again, that's just the latest report. There's no actual backing behind that. But the fact that I'm hearing multiple different reports of people dying by the masses is kind of shady to me.
Their government says that there's been 3,000 plus people die. Other people have said 6,000 adjacent numbers. Other people have said 30 to 40,000 people died in those protests. So the numbers truly were all over the place. I still haven't seen an updated count. But 3,000, as we were talking about, would still be more than our 9/11 incident. So it's still a lot of people that's very consequential out there. But, you got to now talk to people who they claim are responsible. Because if you say we helped start the protests in general, kind of becomes more plausible to me that you also might have started doing something within those protests as well. We don't know who it was, because we don't know.
Yeah,
but they say that there's paid protesters here, there's paid aggravators here. Is the same thing happening over there? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye out on it for sure.